Hi, my name's Ella.
Hi guys, I'm Senior Airman Daniel.
Um, how long have you been in the military?
I've been in the military for 3 years and about 3 months.
What's your current job in the Air Force?
Current job in the Air Force is a nuclear weapons specialist.
What kind of mental health resources or support are available to you in the military?
So a couple mental health and support things that we have are the chaplain, which is a totally confidential thing. Can't spread our business or anything like that. We also have our first shirt that we can go to. We have True North, and then there's tons of other things, like we can go to any immediate supervisors, leadership, anything like that, but the only total confidentiality that we have will be with our chaplain.
Do you feel comfortable speaking to someone about your mental health? Why or why not? What are some challenges or barriers with seeking mental health support?
So I haven't had much struggles with mental health in my career, but what I have found that is if I was to have any problems with mental health, approaching anybody with the situation would be difficult, considering that I have obligations that I have to take care of for my job, as well as duties that I have to comply with every day. And having these struggles being taken care of would prevent me from being able to complete my task at hand.
Do you think they would treat you differently if they knew you were struggling mentally?
I think the Air Force tries to preach a very helpful and positive way of mental health, but at the end of the day, I think it's kind of like most people find it as a weakness or a soft point, so we as military members try to ignore the fact of any mental health problems and push it off and kind of just take on the role as to, well, like, I'll be okay and I'll work through it and I don't really need to go to anybody with this problem, because at the end of the day, the job has to get done.
Are mental health check-ins a regular part of your service experience, or are they only done in certain situations?
I would say they're only done in certain situations. I would say that it's not every day or every week somebody's coming and asking me, hey, what's going on in your life? Are you okay? Where's your mental health at? It's more of like if they see me slipping up in my job, if they see my performance taken down, then that's when they're going to be like, is there something up with you? Is something wrong? And even then, it's still hard to come up as a man and be like, I am dealing with this, because like I said before, just those obligations will be taken from me and I'll kind of feel like I'm letting them down.
Wow. How do your fellow airmen or superiors view mental health issues? Is there stigma around asking for help?
So personally, what I've experienced in the Air Force in my time in, I've experienced that most people kind of joke about it. They kind of joke around it. I've known a few, like me personally, if a friend or an airman was to come up to me with a mental health issue, then I would try to seek out help for them. But personally, I feel like most members in the Air Force kind of make a joke out of it, like kind of like, oh man, I hate my life kind of deal. Oh man, like this sucks, man, I'm super sad. And they kind of just put it on a comedy view, but overall, I don't think anybody truly wants to be the one that stands out for having mental health issues. It's kind of looked at as kind of like an embarrassing aspect, instead of trying to take the time to say, I need help and I want to be taken seriously. It's kind of I won't acknowledge it, and when it is acknowledged, I'll make a joke of it.
Okay. Did you ever feel that seeking mental health support might hurt your career or reputation in the Air Force?
For my job, 100% it would hurt my career and reputation in the Air Force, because if I was to lack mental health, then I wouldn't be able, or I wouldn't be allowed permission to perform my work duties, which would not let me progress in my career rank-wise or knowledge-wise, and it would just cripple me as a airman trying to come up.
Okay. Have you ever felt let down by the system, like you weren't heard, believed, or prioritized?
I think in the military, sometimes a common phrase between all branches are just shut up and color. And that's kind of a thing of like, I tell you to do something, I don't need it questioned, I don't need any back talk, I just need the job to get done. And for a lot of people, I feel at times that no matter how we feel about a certain situation or about where our thought process is, like there's no time to kind of let our emotions talk because there's a job that has to get done and we don't have any time for questions, which I think truly does make certain people, and honestly most of us for that aspect, kind of feel like we're not as important as we feel like we should be because we're not letting our voices be heard. We're kind of just being told, hey, you can complain about it later, but for now we're gonna get the job done.
What does good mental health support look like to you, and have you ever experienced it?
So good mental health support to me is under the radar. It's something that isn't brought up in a public eye's view. It's something that if I ask for mental health, then I'm able to receive that help, and I'm able to have somebody by my side without having it being brought up to everybody I work with. So that way it's not kind of brought up as a joking way. It's more I'm taken more seriously, and I'm receiving the help that I need without being a laughing stock of my unit. So it's kind of a mix between good help will be helping me, but behind closed doors without anyone knowing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have there been any programs or resources in the Air Force that have made the biggest positive difference for you?
That's a good one. I will say a couple programs in the Air Force that has helped me a lot, or at least made me feel like I'm not alone, is kind of like we have a couple programs to deal with different foundations, such as Trails In. We have one at our base at F.U. Warren, and it kind of deals with different airmen coming together from different career fields and different places, and we're kind of allowed to all be together and share different experiences with each other, share different job-related talks and stuff like that. And we're also able to do activities with each other. And the same aspect kind of goes for the chaplain hosts a luncheon every month,
cool.
every one time a month. So he'll invite everybody from the base to come and have a free lunch with him. And if you're having any struggles, then you're able to go and talk to him, and even set up a meeting with him so you can go and talk to him on your spare time.
That's really cool. How accessible are mental health services? Are there wait lists, limitations, or eligibility criteria that can make access harder?
So I can't speak for every Air Force installation, but I can speak for F.U. Warren, and I will say that we are given a lot of different opportunities and different programs and different hands reaching out that we can go to. So it's really nice knowing that if I was in a corner and I had nowhere else to go, then I have multiple opportunities to go and contact somebody or get in touch with a different type of person for any mental health issues that I can. And it's really nice knowing that there's not really a wait limit. If I was to go in today, if I was to call the hotline and say, hey, I really need some help right now, I'm going through it, then somebody would be there to talk to me and help guide me through it and help me find the right solution. So that way I'm not making any mistakes that I would regret.
Yeah. And they would, if you called them today, they'd be able to get you in today.
They would. So at minimum, if they couldn't get me in today, then there's a hotline that we can call that is 24/7, and there's always somebody on the phone that's willing to sit there and talk to you through your problems, and willing to sit there and at least set up an appointment and try to understand, okay, this person needs help. I'm going to put him down on the chart. I'm going to make it aware that he needs help, but I'm not going to kind of put him on blast.
Yeah. Do you think people utilize that hotline?
I would say that I would really hope that people utilize it, and I would think that people utilize it because I know personally people that I've worked with or people that are friends to me that have went through mental health struggles and that have went to the chaplain or have went to mental health clinic even, and I know that personally that has kind of crippled them a little bit in our career field. But at the end of the day, to me what's important is instead of sometimes saying the job needs to get done, saying I need help. So
Yeah.
I think that that's more important sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah. If you could speak directly to the leaders in the military, what would you ask them to do differently?
One thing that I'd ask them to do differently in the military is kind of look at us on the aspect of, yes, there's different ranks in the military, and yes, we should have respect towards the higher ranks, but at the end of the day, I think we're all people. I think we all signed the same paper, and we all raised our right hand, to do our nation a service. So at the end of the day, I think that we all need to be treated as such. We all need to be held to the same standard. We all need to be treated with the same dignity. I would just ask that they change the roles of the higher ups and the roles of the higher ranks, kind of just telling the younger airmen in our nation to kind of shut up and color. I don't think that that's right. I think that there should be more inclusion in the Air Force. There should be more understanding in the Air Force, and I truly believe that to make it a better Air Force and a better military for our nation, I think that there needs to be a why behind the what. I think instead of giving every airman a task and not giving them a why behind that, kind of doesn't give them the determination and motivation that they need to complete every task with their best ability. So I think as time goes on and our leaders of the Air Force kind of start giving airmen that bigger why, that will further then allow us as younger airmen in the Air Force to feel more motivated and more inspired to do a good job.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, this is the last question. Do you think that there is currently enough resources for mental health support in the military? Why or why not?
I currently think that there are enough resources in the military, and it's a little bit of a I do and I don't situation. I think that there definitely is enough great resources for us to use. I think that there's very easily obtainable numbers to call, people to see, emails to send. There's plenty of resources that we can take, but I think the stigmatism of going to those people and taking that first step in the military is very frowned upon. And even though there's courses and there's classes, I think that it's not really speaking to the younger generation of the Air Force when we're telling them, hey, it is okay if you have a problem. It is okay for you to be human, and it is okay to go seek out help. And I think if we could just get that message across in a better way, rather than just having a bunch of people sit in a classroom and have somebody talk to you, I think that the message will stick way better when you have someone to talk with, and you have someone to share experiences with and tell you, hey, I've been in your shoes, and it's okay to seek out help. It doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you frowned upon, it makes you a man. So I think that's very important.
Yeah. So you think that would help reduce the stigma if it was less? Is that how you guys kind of treat mental health? Is you're in a classroom and they just kind of lecture to you?
Yeah, 100%. We have kind of like classrooms and classes and different type of briefings that we have that kind of preach these different resources that we can go for, these different people that we can go see, and why mental health is important. But honestly, I think our younger generation doesn't grasp onto the idea enough of, if you really do have a problem, that it's okay to go see someone. I think that we more make a laughing stock of the situation of like, hey, we're just all in this boring classroom trying not to fall asleep. And at the end of the day, I don't think anybody truly grasps that message. But I think it really is important for, especially in our young Air Force, to know that if you're going through something, you're not alone, and it's okay to go through these. It's only human. So
that's great. Do you think there's a way to reduce stigma around mental health in the military?
I think overall, time will always tell. Time will always be our best friend in the military, because as we grow with time, we innovate, we renovate, we upgrade, and we're becoming better airmen at the end of the day. But through time, and we don't know what the future holds for us, but I do truly believe that that stigma will fade as long as we find a way to give our younger airmen a better message, as long as we find a way to touch them in a different way that's not, okay, let's all sit in this classroom and let me just talk to you about it, and then I'll let you go on about your day. It's more of like, even if it has to be a one-on-one, like what can I speak to you about? What can we find common grounds about? What have you been through? Let me tell you what I've been through, and then let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hey, thank you for talking with me.
Of course, thanks for having me.